why do, and I guess it's the $1 million question, but why do some people make it and some people don't? And because Tim's obviously a great example of that. We've had Dominic Kopfer, who, I don't know if you know Dominic Kopfer.
Yeah.
He was on the podcast up until 16. He was playing twice a week. And he went to US college, wasn't in the lineup the first year, has ended up being a solid top 50 player in the world. You know, you've got obviously you've got Carlos Alcaraz, who was beating everyone while he was wearing nappies. So you have a lot of you have the different ways. But when you reflect back, and twofold question, why do some people make it and others don't? And secondly, if you were to have your time again, is what would you do different, if anything? Do you carry any regrets from your tennis? A two-pronged question.
It's difficult to have regrets in life, because you can't have your time again, and you make the decisions that you do based on where you were at that time and the person that you were. But I think I can answer both questions to a certain extent with one word, and it's application. I wish I'd applied myself in a much more professional way than I did. I wish I'd sought out more coaching and advice. I wish I'd spent more time in the gym and just hit more balls. But ultimately, it comes down to an attitude and an approach to being a professional sports person. And I do genuinely think, especially in the world of tennis, because we're biased here, but I do think it's the toughest individual sport to make it professionally, and I think I can sort of back that up with certain statements if need be. But it gets really, really, really tough, and it quickly finds out whether you've got what it takes or not. And I think those that understand the amount of work that has to go into it, they understand that it is a process and a journey, and all those other sort of cliches that exist, because they are true and very real. The ones that really sort of buy into that and knuckle down and do the work, they have by far a better chance of achieving than others. Ability, obviously, natural ability, I think, does play a role. So a friend of mine is Matthew Syed. Have you read any Matthew's books? Maybe I can put you in touch and get him on. I shouldn't be promising things that I might not be able to deliver. But Matthew is kind of the sort of
we got Just for Men sponsorship and Matthew Syed. I've got it down here. Don't worry. All
right,
we got it.
Shit. So Matthew's one of those that prescribes to the theory of, I can't remember how many number it is. It's like 10,000 hours. Anybody can achieve, or get to a certain level. I don't really believe in that. I think there has to be some natural talent and ability from within. And obviously it is combined with the practice and having the right people to guide you. But there is also, Dan, this X factor, and who knows? Alcaraz, I remember seeing him play when he was 14. So I did some commentating for the ITF actually, and I was commentating at the Junior Fed Cup. So it's now the Billie Jean King Cup for the juniors, and it's under 16. And it was at the same venue as the Junior Davis Cup. And so while I wasn't commentating on the girls' matches, I went to have a look at some of the boys, and Alcaraz was there. And there was already at the age of 14 a buzz about him. But there was just the guy was unreal. You see him playing, you go, well, yeah, he's going to be a superstar. But unless you're an Alcaraz, and I guess for previous generations, that was Nadal, it was Hingis in the women's game, and a whole bunch of other teenagers that went on to great things. Yeah, unless you really stand out a mile, it's so difficult to see or know or get a feeling for a player who is going to be great. And I think so much of it is because there's just this X factor that no one can really put their their finger on. And I love it when I see players that have grinded, like Paolini. Jasmine Paolini is a great
Amazing.
example. I just love the fact that she is getting, finally, after putting all those years in as a journeyman tennis player, that she's getting the rewards for it. But what happened here? Something clicked, something changed, and I don't think it's possible sometimes to put your finger on what that is.
I think just to add to that, Dan, because I think you've answered that very well. I'm a believer that nobody reaches their potential, their absolute potential. So then, if we do prescribe to this thing of just work hard day in, day out, put it in, put the hours in, work smart, do it the right way, everyone has the ability to get better. And like it's not, whereas I sometimes think if we think of like it just being and I know you're not saying this, but if we think of it just being the X factor, that's quite fixed in its mindset. So I would really actively encourage players on the growth mindset piece of like actually when I'm selling the academy, I'm talking to parents, I call it the success equation, which I'm very passionate about. Very simple. It's just something that I brought together, but someone I wholeheartedly believe, which is opportunity and environment plus an unconditional effort, a passion, a desire, plus talent. But then I cross the talent out because we can't control it, equals success. And if people have the right opportunities in the right environment, and they genuinely have an unconditional drive, force behind them, or want to desire, and they're driving that forward, I strongly believe they will succeed. Now, success obviously
Yeah.
is a very
How do you define?
is a very subjective thing, right? So
Yeah.
and success into what it is, and that's that doesn't mean everyone wins Wimbledon, and I guess the defining factor, if you have those first two, will come down to that talent bit. Roger Federer winning 20 Grand Slams has to be partly because of his talent, and I don't like that everyone, if you just work hard every day, you do 10,000 hours, and you're all going to win Wimbledon. That's just not how it is,
No.
but I think it's also dangerous when people think, well, I just don't have the talent, so it's getting the right balance.
Yeah, look,
Sure.
it's a combination of things, and there are some must-haves, and that commitment, use the word unconditional, but that commitment to the hard work and the process, and understanding it as well, and therefore being able to adopt the right mental attitude towards a hopefully successful career is hugely important.